Cybertake's S2 Pro is a 25-pound portable 5100 BTU air conditioning unit that is absolutely perfect to keep you comfortable on your adventures during those hot summer days. It is also a 6100 BTU heater, a regular fan, or a dehumidifier. The Cybertake S2 Pro is extremely energy efficient, using only 100 watts in eco mode. I've tested this and the eco mode is enough to cool down a small space like a tent. It was designed with outdoors in mind and has a waterproof rating of IPX4, making it rainproof. It comes with all the hoses, cables, and adapters you need to start using this unit right out of the box.
And the beauty is, it all fits into this optional pack. So what does the pack actually hold? Well, it holds everything. So I will show you. The only thing it doesn't hold is the battery because it doesn't have a battery built in. You have to have your power station separately. So let's open this up. I'll show you everything that's in here. On the top, you have this waterproof bag. In the waterproof bag, I have the hoses. Mine broke already. More on that in a second. It was user error, nothing wrong with the product whatsoever. You have the two, I don't know, adapters, I guess, for your front and the back of the unit. On this side here, you have your power brick, and this thing is pretty heavy, and it does get really hot. Again, I'll talk about that in a second. Right now, we're just going over what's in here. The power cord for your brick. I keep the instruction manual in this side pocket as well. And then in the main area, you've got the unit itself. Also, on the side pocket, there's a remote. More on the remote later. I actually love this remote. You also have a water tube to drain the unit as you use it. So let's get it all hooked up and I'll show you the features, how it works and all that stuff. And in the meantime, I have my tent open and it is a hot day out here. I'm not quite sure the temperature, but it's hot. I got my tent becoming an oven. You know how it is with these rooftop tents or ground tents. They get super hot inside with the weather like this. So we're actually going to test it out. And I'm going to be able to give you some real world numbers. That's where this remote is going to come in. Now I'm going to be using my trusty Blue Yeti AC60 powered with the B80, or paired with the B80 I should say. Gives me about 1200 watt hours. And apparently on eco mode, that'll run this for about 10 hours. Let's see. So depending on your configuration, you can use either one of these or both of these, I guess, if you had more hoses. And all you're doing is clipping it to the front. There we go. Or the back of the unit. Now in this case, I'm going to be running it outside, so we'll be using the front of the unit to blow the cold air into the tent. But before I do that, let's get it hooked up and I'll show you how it works. On the back side, you've got a plug right here to plug in the brick.
It also has two drain plugs. Both do the same thing. Simply take off one of the orange plugs and hook up the water hose that is included with the unit.
And then your AC plug will just go to your power station. Once you're plugged in, this is where the magic happens. Hold the power button and it'll turn on. I don't know if you can see the screen, but it's got a nice screen. Even in this daylight, I can clearly see everything that's on it. On this side, you have your fan speed. On this side, you have your temperature, how hot or cold you want it. On the front, you have this nice blue light, or if it's heating, it'll be an orange light. You can turn it off using the power button, just like that. Of course, you can't see it right now, but it shuts off the lights. Now it's already blowing cold air. and we're currently using an unbelievable 97 watts, 96, 97. I've seen it get up to 99, but right now it'll run it for about 12 hours on eco mode, which is unbelievable. Something else to think about, it's a great product, but the EcoFlow Wave 2, I've loved that air conditioning unit. I've used it for a long time. I haven't used it since I got this one for a few reasons. One of them just being the sound. This one's a lot more quiet. As you can tell, I'm right next to it right now. You can barely hear it. I can hear the fan a little bit. I don't hear the compressor at all. The other thing is, on paper, this is a little bit less efficient. In reality, I found it to be much more efficient. The fan on this thing is awesome. It's a level 6, which I didn't know what that meant, but that means it's blowing wind at about 25 to 31 miles per hour. So this fan gets that cold air out there, and I just found it to be much more efficient than the EcoFlow Wave 2. Also the weight, this only weighs 25 pounds. The EcoFlow weighs, I can't remember what it weighs, but it's a lot more, especially when you add the battery. I understand we have to carry the batteries anyway, but I just find this one to be much easier to carry around. So let's go over the features. Right now I am in eco mode and I have the fan set to max, and we're using 105 watts. This button here is going to go through the different modes that it has. So this will be max mode. The snowflake indicates that it's air conditioning. So max mode, let's take a look. We're at about 170. It's climbing fast. I'm just gonna let it keep climbing. All right, so we have maxed out at 360 watts on max air conditioning. You can also put it on auto. Auto will use the power more efficiently to get you to your desired temperature. This button is a timer. You can set it from anywhere from half an hour all the way up to 12 hours, which is nice when you're going to bed. You can just set that timer. Now I did find that when the unit shuts off, it beeps, and that woke me up. I contacted Cybertake. They said that you can take the beeper out. It's on a circuit board. I'm not comfortable doing that, so I just left it the way it is. But it's something to keep in mind. It will beep when it shuts off. This button here is going to change what the unit is doing. In this case, it's being a dehumidifier. This one is just a fan, and you've got your heater. When you switch it to heater, the light changes color to an orange color. And again, you can turn off all the lights. If you don't like the color of it, you can just shut it all off. This button here, we'll put it in eco mode, and you can do, like, it says eco plus Z, so it's for sleeping. It makes the unit super quiet, super efficient. We are going to switch it back to cooling. We'll hook it up and see how fast it cools off that tent. Okay, so before I actually hook up the hoses, guys, please quickly give me a thumbs up. I'm sweating in here. It's a sauna. This is where the handheld little unit comes in, the remote that is an option for this. And I highly recommend getting the remote. I'm not an apps guy. I don't like to have my phone when I'm out camping. So this is also magnetic, and you can stick it to anything that's, you know, magnetic. But unfortunately in this tent I don't have something like that, so I could just leave it up here, I guess, you know, and use it like so. It is currently, oh, I'm sweating, 28.5 degrees Celsius with a humidity of 59%. Now using this remote, I could just turn on the unit, but I'm gonna still run the hoses. Whew, temperature is climbing fast. It is now 29.6 with 60% humidity. I am actually gonna leave this here. Let's go hook up the hoses and check back. Oh, speaking of hoses, I broke this one. And the reason why I broke it is these hoses are actually incredible quality. And what I mean by that is they're not just a flimsy hose. Check this out. When you open them up, first of all, it's super stiff, okay? And when you open it up, look how straight that stays. Now this helps out when you have to maneuver these hoses to do something. For example, I use this unit at home a lot, and I'll have it sitting on a chair, and I'll have to do some sort of S to get the air out of the window. So as you can see, it just stays, and you can maneuver it any which way. super useful. What happened was, it was a cold night and I was testing the heater part out, and when I grabbed it, I guess because of the cold, it was a little too stiff and I ended up tearing this part. I wasn't being careful at all. I just grabbed it and pulled, and it did rip. Unfortunately, I'll end up cutting this off, but I wanted to leave it on for the video. Just for, you know, if you decide to pick one of these up, just to be a little bit aware, a little bit more careful than I was. When it's warm out, I haven't had a single issue with it, and it seems to be, you know, easier to move.
So here I'm not exactly doing things properly. You should have another hose running from your tent to the unit to pull air from. So this is not the most efficient way. However, for testing purposes, I ran it this way and it worked. Realistically, if I can only run one hose, I will.
Okay, back into the sauna. Okay guys, this is ridiculous. 34 degrees Celsius in here currently with 58% humidity. It is hard to breathe. Let's get this thing going. So you simply, with the remote, you just hold the power button. It's currently on eco mode. I'm actually gonna flip that to max mode because I am not comfortable. And I just have it running right into here. My tent has an inlet for that. And away we go. Currently nothing is happening, and it's just getting hotter and hotter in here. And I'm starting to drip sweat currently. Guys, you tricked me good on this one. I forgot, when you put it in heater mode or you take it out of whatever mode that it's in, the compressor has to get going again, and that takes a couple minutes. So now what I should have done is turned it on while I was still outside, but now I'm committed and we're staying in here until that compressor stays on or kicks on. So yeah, I apologize for the wet white t-shirt. that was not part of the plan. We are at 38 degrees Celsius, well 37.9. And we now have cold air. So let's see. It already feels much cooler in here. Much cooler. And you can see that the fan blows enough air. I don't know if you can see this, but it's yeah, puffing up my blankets. It's noticeable. Okay, it's only been a minute or so, and the temperature has dropped down to 35. It feels a lot cooler. I can tell you the air coming out of this is very cold, very cold. That is good news. Now the other thing is, it's also a heater, so I'm wondering if it would be able to heat, well, not if it would, I know for sure it would be able to heat this tent. Okay, it's been a few minutes now, maybe 5 minutes, and it's comfortable in here now. I don't know what else to tell you. I'd say it cools off an oven tent in about 5 minutes, and you'll be comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna end this little experiment. It's been about, I don't know, 8 minutes or so, and it's down to 23.5 Celsius, which is comfortable. The humidity is down to 42%, which I forgot to mention, this is, the air that comes out of here is extremely dry. It also acts as a dehumidifier. That's why you have the hose for the water. But if you need air conditioning for your tent, this unit, more than capable. At this point, I would just put it on eco mode and let it run that way. Let's pack up while I give you my final thoughts on the Cybertake S2 Pro.
Packing up is extremely easy. Everything has its spot. The video recording cut out at the end, but rest assured that the unit fits easily into the case without hassle.
So here's the thing with this unit. It works in the tent. Obviously, it's a small space. Even though it gets extremely hot, no issues there. I've used it at home and it does cool off the house, about 500 square feet of it, to the point where it's comfortable on super hot days. It does have a water pump or a draining feature where you hold the two buttons. Sometimes for me it works, sometimes for me it doesn't. I don't know if it's just my unit. Not the end of the world. Once you plug in the hose and you unplug that orange plug in the back, it works just fine. Just don't forget to have something for it to drain into. I just use a pot or a bucket or something. The brick does get really hot. I did bring it up with them. They said they are working on a different power option, but it is still safe. It just does get hot. So something to keep in mind. You want to keep your kids away from it. They might burn themselves. It's not that hot. It's not like, yeah, it's not that hot, but you'll definitely feel it. It's warm. I love the weight of it. The case, as much as I like it, I would consider that an option. If you don't have a carrying case already, like a tote or something to carry it in, this is great. It does hold everything like I mentioned before, and it's held up really nicely. But again, not necessary if you already have a tote. The remote, I do recommend the remote. That has come in so handy. Even now while I was doing the tent thing, it would be nice to just switch it off. The reason why I don't like to run these types of units close to my body, or if you have a tent, you shouldn't run it in the tent if you care about EMFs. Most people don't care about it. That's actually why I stopped using a heated blanket as well. I'm just a weirdo and yeah, I'll eat McDonald's, but keep me away from the radiation, I guess. I don't know. This one doesn't put out a ton. Once you're about 2 feet away from it, it's okay. The build quality is phenomenal. The handle is great. It's got like a rubber bottom to it. It's not just cheap plastic. You'll see other reviews say the same thing. The build quality is fantastic. Overall, I will give this one a 9 out of 10. The reason why it scores so high, big ticket items such as weight is very important to me. This is low weight. Power consumption, very important to me. This uses very little power. The ease of setup and teardown, very simple. The remote, huge. I am not an app guy. There is an app that you can get for it.
To get the app, simply go to the website. Once you have it downloaded, open it up and add your device. The app will allow you to change all the functions. You'll be able to change the fan speed, turn off the light, change the timer, change the temperature, change the function, and a few other settings like changing the units and changing the name.
Again, I just prefer to use the remote. That's gonna do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you wanna get your own, of course, link is always in the description. Until next time, go away, get lost, and unwind. Oh, and stay cool.
Let's go! Life